Hi everybody! Today we're going to be talking about the dative pronouns. This video goes with the video about dative pronouns from German with Puppets, series number 2. If you go ahead and click on that little box right there, you can go ahead and see the video with puppets, and they'll explain to you a little bit more about this, but I'm going to go ahead and go through the worksheet that goes with that video. Start out here in section number 1. It says that we have 3 cases and we now have the English version of the pronouns. We need the other 3 forms here, the nominative, accusative, and dative forms for the German language. The first thing we ever learned is the pronouns in the nominative case. These are the pronouns that you would use whenever you're talking about the subject of a sentence. So things like I, which would be ich. You, singular informal, that's going to be the du form, talking to one singular individual that you would say is an informal person or somebody that is not your superior or something along those lines. He would be er. She would be sie. It is going to be es. We is going to be the wir form. You, the plural informal, is going to have to be ihr. They is sie. And you, singular or plural informal, is also sie, but with a capital S. Now we've already learned the accusative ones, and we've talked about these as being direct objects or objects of accusative prepositions. So we have here mich, as in for me, für mich. The accusative form of du is dich, as in für dich, for you. He changes from er to him, which would be ihn. Sie and s stay the same in the accusative case. Wir, we changed from we to us, which in German is uns. Ihr changes to euch, and the 2 other z's here stay the same. Now that's all review. The new ones here would be the dative case. The dative case is used with indirect objects, objects of dative prepositions, and objects of dative verbs. So now we have the word mir, which we've had several times over because we had things like das gefällt mir, that is pleasing to me, or I like that. Mir, because gefallen is a dative verb. Du changes from dich in the accusative to dir in the dative, which is where we get the idea of wie geht's dir, how's it going. Dir is dative. Er changes from ihn in the accusative to ihm in the dative. Sie finally changes in the dative case to ihr. S also changes here, and that becomes ihm. We, on the other hand, still stay us, and so we have uns. We just add an in between the English word. And then for the ihr form, we still have euch. And then both sie and sie at the bottom of the chart here, we have ihnen and ihnen. Notice that we capitalize this one here because it's still the formal form, and therefore we have to have ihnen with a capital I. Now there is a handy little trick to remember your pronouns. If we have here an R, E, S, E, that's the der, die, das, die. That would be your der words for that particular case, der, die, das, die. And the ending letter of each one of those is R-E-S-E. The same thing happens with the pronouns er, sie, es, sie. Now the same thing happened here in the accusative case where we had Nesse, N-E-S-E, den, die, das, die. Now the same thing is reflected here in the dative case where we have im, r, m, n, or as we sometimes say, merman, we have here dem, der, dem, den. Now before, when we had dative plural, we had an extra n at the end of the noun. Because we no longer have a noun when we replace the pronoun, we now have 2 n's. We have an n here and an n here. That would make it ihnen. Now you have both of your n's combined into one thing. So if you're trying to remember how it is that it's ihnen for this z, but it's ihr for the other one, you still have to have these endings here, and so we have n's to remind you. Ihnen. Now in section 2 it says to rewrite the following sentences to replace anything in the dative case with a dative pronoun. Pay close attention to indirect objects, objects of dative prepositions, and objects of dative verbs. So, the first one here we have das Mädchen hilft der Frau. Normally, Frau is feminine and it says die Frau, but because helfen is a dative verb, we have to have here a dative object, der Frau, instead of die. So we're going to replace der Frau with a pronoun here. So we keep das Mädchen hilft, and we change out der Frau. If you notice that der Frau, we notice that we also have to have a pronoun that reflects that. There's an R at the end of the der word, and so our pronoun, ihr, also has an R at the end of it. Das Mädchen hilft ihr. The girl helps her. Nummer 2, der Junge gibt dem Mann ein Geschenk. Dem Mann instead of der Mann because it's the dative case. It's the one receiving the Geschenk or the gift. The boy here is the one that's giving. What's being given is the direct object, ein Geschenk, and the indirect object is what's receiving the Geschenk, which in this case is dem Mann. So we leave everything else alone. Der Junge gibt ihm ein Geschenk. The boy gives him a gift. Now notice that we have here dem, which has an M at the end of it, and our pronoun also has an M at the end of it. Der Junge kauft eine Rose vom Floristen. The boy buys a rose from the florist. Now here we have vom, which is actually a contraction of von and dem. So when we make our pronoun here, we have to separate those two out again, so we just have von and then the pronoun. We leave everything else alone in the sentence. Der Junge kauft eine Rose, and then our preposition von. Von being a dative preposition, whatever comes after it has to be dative. Because we said von dem, we had an M here at the end of our der word. We now have an M at the end of our pronoun, von ihm. From whom? Von wem? Von ihm. From him. Nummer 4. Kauft seiner Schwester eine Halskette. He is buying something. The something he is buying is a necklace. Since the necklace is being bought for someone, we have to have here an indirect object for whom it is being bought, his sister. It says seine Schwester because it's a dative object and it's feminine. So we leave everything else alone in the sentence. Kauft. Because our ein word here ends in an R, our pronoun must also end in an R. So we have here kauft ihr eine Halskette. Kauft ihr eine Halskette. He buys her a necklace. Number 5. Ich kaufe den Kindern Geschenke. Here we have I, which is the subject, buying something. The something I'm buying are gifts. So I am buying gifts. The for whom I am buying them is then the indirect object, which is the dative thing. Here we have den Kindern, which is plural dative. That's why it has an N at the end of the noun as well. So we leave everything else alone in the sentence, ich kaufe, followed by the children, but we have to have a pronoun that has two N's, as I mentioned before. So here we have ihnen Geschenke. Ich kaufe ihnen Geschenke. I buy them gifts. So in this next section, it gets a little bit more complicated because we have to actually pay attention to punctuation at the end of each sentence, where words go in a sentence, the conjugation, all of the other case things that we had talked about, der words and ein words and prepositional phrases and all kinds of stuff. We're going to start with the first one here. It says, du, wir, nix, kaufen. So we have to figure out who's buying what and for whom it's being bought. For simplicity's sake, let's say that we are buying nothing for you. So you would say here, wir, we. Because normally your sentence is going to start with the subject of the sentence, especially if it's a statement. So we have wir. Conjugation of kaufen to go with wir, we have here wir kaufen. Then we have for whom it's being bought, which in this case is you. But du changes here from du to dir. Then we have to have our object there, nothing, nix. And so we have our full sentence, wir kaufen dir nix. We are buying you nothing. And the next one is a question, which means that we either start with a question word or a verb. In this sentence, we don't have a question word, and so we say kaufen at the beginning of the sentence. Now we have to establish who is buying what for whom. So we have here either he is buying a car for them, or they are buying a car for him. I would go with the sie plural being the subject of the sentence, so we start off with kaufen sie. Are they buying? For whom it is being bought then follows that, so we have here our indirect object, which in this case is er, but because it's a dative object, we have to have er changed to ihm. And then our direct object, ein Auto. Are they buying a car for him? Kaufen sie ihm ein Auto. Are they buying him a car? The next one says basically the same thing, but we have to have here a period at the end of it. So we say this is a statement. So basically the only thing that changes is we start with our subject. Sie kaufen ihm ein Auto. They are buying him a car. Nummer 4 is really simple. We only have ich, du, and danken. So we only have 3 words, which means that one of them is the subject, one of them is the verb, and one of them is the object of the dative verb danken, to thank. If it's I thank you, ich danke dir. I thank you. If it's the other way around, du dankst mir. I thank you, ich danke dir. Du dankst mir, you thank me. I thank you, you thank me. We're happy. Stop it. Okay, wait. We're done with that. Number 5. We have here a command because we have an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence, which means we have to have a command. You cannot command ich, and therefore we have to have verkaufen, conjugated to go with du, but as a command. And so basically we just drop our en here. We have verkauf, sell. Then we have to have what's being sold and to whom. I'm assuming that the shoes are being sold to me. And since me here is in the dative case, the one receiving the shoes, we have to have verkauf mir die Schuhe. Sell me the shoes. Verkauf mir die Schuhe. Number 6. This one is a question of the same format. Same thing as before, but now we have to have our question format, which means we have to have here the verb first, conjugated to go with the do form, so we have verkaufst, du, and then the rest of the sentence is the same, mir die Schuhe. Are you selling me the shoes? Verkaufst du mir die Schuhe? Number 7 is exactly the same thing, but this time we have a statement because we have here a period at the end of the sentence, which means we start with our subject. Du, you, verkaufst mir die Schuhe. You were selling me the shoes. Du verkaufst mir die Schuhe. Now this next one, Nummer 8, it says I, you, help, not more. So I'm not helping you anymore, or you are not helping me anymore. It's probably more likely that I am not helping you anymore would be the statement, and so we say here ich as our subject, starting the sentence. Conjugate our verb helfen to go with our subject, ich helfe. Then we have to have our object. In this case we have a dative verb, which means we have to have a dative object. Du changes into the dative case, dir. Ich helfe dir nicht mehr. I'm no longer helping you. Number 9. Here we have a question again, and so we have to start with our question word. In this case, warum. Now we have two options here. It's either why am I telling you this story, or why are you telling me this story? So let's try it out with warum erzählst du mir diese Geschichte? Why are you telling me this story? Warum erzählst du mir diese Geschichte? If we wanted to use it the other way around, we would just have to simply change the conjugation here to warum erzähle, change du to ich, and mir for dir. Warum erzähle ich dir diese Geschichte? Why am I telling you this story? Nummer 10. Again, we have a question, and again we have warum, which means we have to start with our question word warum. And this one is why you speak with me. Why are you speaking with me, or why am I speaking with you? Let's try it the opposite way this time. Let's make ich the subject. Warum spreche ich mit dir? Why am I speaking to you? Warum spreche ich mit dir? Nummer 11. Here we have again a question, and this one starts with the question word was. And this one we have what am I buying you, or what are you buying me? Let's go with the you being the subject in this sentence, so we change the kaufen to kauft, then our subject, was kauft ihr. Because was is technically our direct object here, that makes ich the indirect object, mir. Was kauft ihr mir? What are you buying me? And the last one is also a question, and this one also starts with was. So we have here was, and then our verb here, which is werden, because we have to conjugate that one and put the infinitive at the end of the sentence. And this is, what will your parents say to them, or what will they tell your parents? So let's go with what will they tell your parents. Was werden sie? Was werden sie? What will they? Because what is our subject here, that means that the one receiving the what is then ihre Eltern. Because ihre Eltern is plural, we have to change this to ihnen. Was werden sie ihnen sagen? What will they tell them? That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you want to see the next video in this worksheet series, go ahead and click on that little box right there. If you want to see the next video of German with puppets, click on that box right there. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, bye.